So the first topic in Unit 3 was indices. So we need to know what I actually mean by that, and also how to apply lots of different rules for indices. So first of all, let's think about what we even mean whenever we use the word indices. So if we have something like this, we would read it as 3 to the power of 4. And this 3 here, we would refer to it as the base number. And the 4, it would be the index. Okay, or the power. I would more commonly use the word power, but index is the proper word for it. Now, 3 to the power of 4 just means 3 is multiplied by itself 4 times. So 3 multiplied by 3, multiplied by 3, multiplied by 3. Now, if a question asks you to write something like this in index form, it doesn't mean you have to calculate what the value of it is. It would just mean you to write it like this. So this is index form. Okay. Now, you do need to be very careful whenever you're reading questions on indices, because sometimes they'll give you something like this and they'll say, what does that mean? And if they say that, then it's really this that they're looking for you to write out. Or if they say find the value of, then that's whenever you do go ahead and calculate the value of that. So if it asks that, then that means find what 3 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 3 is, and that is 81. Okay, so do pay attention to what the question is actually asking us to do. So the other thing that we need to do with indices is to be able to apply these rules. Now these rules can look a little bit scary at the start, but I promise they're not. So what I've written here is x to the power of a multiplied by x to the power of b. We know that gives us x to the power of a plus b, but what does that actually mean? First of all, this rule only applies if the base numbers are the same. So do you see here how both my base numbers are x? I've just used x to mean any number, but it is important that those numbers are the same. The rule does not apply if they're not. So if I have, and we will do some examples in this, but if I have 2 to the power of 4 multiplied by 2 to the power of 5, instead of having to work out 2 times 2 and work all that out, we can just use this wee rule. What did I say, 2 to the power 4 and 2 to the power 5? Then that would give us 2, because the base number would be the same, and then the power is just the 2 powers added together, so that power in that case would have been 9, right? Now, next rule, sort of the opposite. Oh, I've written it wrong, give me a second. Sorry about that. X to the power of a divided by x to the power of b. The rule for that is that we end up with x to the power of a minus b. So if you're multiplying numbers in index form, then you add the powers together, and if you're dividing, then you take the one you're dividing by away from the one you're dividing. The last little rule that we looked at this year was that anything to the power of 0 gives us 1. So let's do a few little examples using these rules. Right, so let's work through these examples here. So for the first question, I have said write these in index form. So we're just going to be applying these rules, which are up here. So 5 to the power of 3 multiplied by 5 to the power of 7. That's going to be equal to 5 to the power of these two powers added together. So 3 plus 7 gives me 10. Now the question hasn't asked me to figure out what the final answer of, like, what the value of that is. So that is my final answer. That's how I leave it. B, 8 multiplied by 8 to the power of 5. If there's a number like this which doesn't have a power written on it, that really means 8 to the power of 1. That's just one of those things that we don't tend to write on. So 8 multiplied by 8 to the power of 5 is really 8 to the power of 1 multiplied by 8 to the power of 5. So the base number stays the same, and then we just add the powers together. So that is 6. 7 to the power of 5 divided by 7 to the power of 2, or 7 squared. Base number stays the same, and then we're applying this rule here. So we take the power of the one we're dividing by away from the original power. So 5 take away 2 is 3. And last one in example 1, 9 to the power of 15 divided by 9 to the power of 10 gives us 9 to the power of 10 take away 15 is 5. For example 2, I have said find the value of these things. Okay, hope I've left myself enough room here. So 10 to the power of 9 divided by 10 to the power of 7. I wouldn't initially figure out what 10 to the power of 9 was, and then, you know what I mean, to find the value. Apply the rule first of all and then find the value afterwards. So 10 to the power of 9 divided by 10 to the power of 7 is 10 to the power of 9 take away 7 is 2. And 10 squared, we all know what that is, it's 100. Now, I've done two equal signs on one line there. Apologies, I know I'm not supposed to. I've got no room. B, 6 to the power of 5 divided by 6 to the power of 4 gives me 6 to the power of 5 take away 4 is 1. So I can just write that as 6. And C, 3 to the power of 8 divided by 3 to the power of 8 gives me 3 to the power of 8 take away 8 is 0. And what's the rule for anything to the power of 0? It's 1. So my answer for that one is 1. Okay, now this is something people find tricky, so make sure you find a way of remembering those rules. Okay, see you in the next one.